Hello everybody, welcome back to Learning Biology. Alright, so this video is the last part of chapter 12, 係會12課最後一個部分啦。Okay, so earlier we've learned about two things. We've learned about the flower structure, 花結構啦, and how does pollination takes place. Alright, 點樣做到呢個傳粉啊 pollination. And so today we're going to continue on what happens after pollination. 喺 pollination 後邊之後 what will happen 呢? And then this word we need to know. 指多一次先啦 This is germination. Germination 就即係代表佢慢慢去發育啦，慢慢去萌發啦。Okay, so what is this structure? 我可以直接嚟咯。What is this structure? So this is of course the flower. Alright, this whole thing is a flower, not banana. Alright, so the pollen grain. If you see my mouse, it should be somewhere here. Okay, the pollen grain should be around the 1 喺一字呢度附近嘅啦。Alright, and then so it will land on where? 呢度你望到啦 So it will land on the stigma, and then 佢就會 germinate. It will germinate to get into the ovary. 落咗去呢個 ovary 嗰度啦 and to fuse with the female gametes. Okay, 佢個 male gamete 啦 from the pollen grain will fuse with the female gamete. Alright, will fuse with female gametes. Okay, so one thing beforehand is that this part is very important. So I think I've forgotten which dictation this is already, but let's just put this down. We will dictate this part from 1 to 5. Okay, this part is very important, 好重要㗎 alright? So okay, before going on to the process 去講呢個過程之前呢 I would just like to tell you one more thing. So what exactly is pollination? Pollination 係啲乜嘢嚟嘅呢？傳粉 in Chinese 傳播花粉啦。So it's like transfer of 呢一個嘅 pollen grains. Alright, so put it down in case you don't know. Okay, so this thing is the transfer of pollen grain. Okay, but then what about fertilization? Fertilization 係啲乜嘢嚟嘅呢？ Fertilization is okay. So fertilization 就係呢個嘅 fusion 啦，得唔得 ？Fusion of male and female gametes. Alright， 好啦，而 in between 喺兩者之間啦 ，in between 呢個 pollination and 呢一個嘅 fertilization 嗰度咧，喺中間度咧 ，there is one thing happening， 就係呢個 germination of 呢一個嘅 pollen grains. Alright， 所以第一樣嘢啦 ，the first thing that will happen is pollination. So the pollen grain gets to the stigma, and then it will germinate， 佢會去萌發啦。And then it will fertilize with the female gamete. Alright? These三個 process, do not mix them up, okay? 好啦, if there is no question, let's continue. Okay, so first of all, 第一樣嘢發生咩事呢? As I said, pollination 啦，呢一個部分，個 pollen grain will land on 呢個 stigma 嘅 of the same species. 當然啦，must it be always the same species? 係咪一定要係一樣嘅品種嚟嘅咧 ？Not really 嘅 ，okay? But most of the time, say, can I mate with a horse? The answer is likely no， 得唔得 ？Human mate with human， alright？ 咁呢個就為之一個 same species 啦 ，OK？ 好啦，咁 it will land on the stigma, and then 係 up on the stigma 啲乜嘢咧？佢哋會有一個 there is something called sugary solution, so it's just like sugar。OK， 會有一啲嘅 sugary 嘅 solution 啦 ，solution 即係代表一啲嘅溶液或者液體啦。That will stimulate， 指多一次啦 ，stimulate 係刺激到呢個 germination，alright， 刺激到呢個 germination 啦。So after it is stimulated， 當佢係俾人刺激到之後咧 ，what will happen？ They will develop a pollen tube。個 pollen grain 咧會 develop 咗一個 pollen tube。OK，so we'll talk about the diagram here later, 得唔得? So this is a pollen grain. So where is it? This circular thing, 呢個圓墩墩嘅嘢 this one is the pollen grain. And then after stimulated, it will germinate to form a pollen tube. So can you tell me where is the male gamete? 個 male gamete 喺邊度咧 the male gamete is actually here. You can see there is a darker area. 有個暗色少少、深色少少嘅位置嘅。This is the male gametes. Alright, or maybe 2, maybe 3. Alright. 好啦，咁然後咯，so there is something special about the pollen tube. 有啲特別嘅 ，it will secrete enzyme. 佢會喺頭嗰度咯 ，on the head of the pollen tube, it will secrete enzyme. 佢會去分泌一啲 enzyme to digest 呢一個嘅 style. So remember, this whole area 成個中間位置 ，this middle area is a style, and it is not hollow. 佢唔係中空噶嘛 ，it is not hollow. OK， 但係啦，佢呢個位置咧就會係一個 style, so it is digested by the enzyme. OK， 所以啦 ，therefore the pollen tube 咧就會慢慢去 grow down the style 啦，直到去到邊啊 ？grow down, keep on 向住落去啦。And then until it gets to the ovary 啦。OK， 好啦，目的係啲咩啊 ？What is the purpose? It's to carry the male gametes to the female gametes， 亦都即係呢個嘅 ovule 啦。OK，ovule 呢度啦。So it will carry it to the ovule to fuse with the female gametes. OK， 好啦 ，to the last part 喎，開始去最尾嘅位置啦。The pollen tube will go through 呢個中間有 there is a hole here, and this hole we call it the micropyle. 佢會 grow through 呢個 micropyle 啦，然之後啦 ，the tip will burst. Tip 即係代表最頂端嗰度，最頂嗰度啦 ，will burst, and then it will release 去釋放翻呢個嘅 male gametes to the ovule. Alright， 好啦 ，eventually 最尾啦 ，it will fuse with the female gametes. The male gamete fused with female gametes. 簡單嚟講就係 fertilization 啦。而 after fertilization, the zygote will be formed. OK， 好啦，其實 think of it as a story. OK， 用一個 story 去諗 ，do not just recite all of them， 唔好成日齋背啦。So very easy. First one, the pollen grain land on 呢一個嘅 stigma 啦。Alright, so this is pollination. OK。好啦 ，and then on the stigma there is something special， 就會有呢啲嘅 sugary solution。The sugary solution will stimulate 邊一個啊？佢會刺激邊一個啊 ？It will stimulate the pollen grains and to germinate， 佢會 germinate 啦，會 develop 啦呢一個嘅 pollen tube。OK， 好啦 ，the pollen tube will need to get down，right？ So it will secrete enzyme， 佢會不斷分泌一啲嘅 enzyme to digest 呢一個嘅 style 嘅。So it will go down the style， 不斷落去啦 ，and go to the ovary， 直到去到呢 ovary 呢個位置啦，得唔得 ？So what is the function？ 個目的係啲咩啊？就係 carry 住一個嘅 male gametes to the ovule 啦，得唔得 ？So and then it will enter the ovule， 就係 through 邊一度啊？佢會入咗 ovule 呢個位置，就係 through 呢一個嘅 micropyle 啦，中間呢一個 this hole 啦 ，and then the tip will burst and release the male gamete， 最頂嗰度就會 burst，release 咗呢個 male gamete。最尾啦 ，very easy，male gamete fused with female gametes，fertilization 就會 takes place 啦。然之後最尾啦 ，formation of zygote。Alright， 所以當係一個古仔咁樣記啊。Okay, so no question, then we'll go on and this part， 我哋就會講到啦 ，pollen grain 係會 go down the style by secreting enzyme。咁我想問啦 ，is it pollen grain which secrete the enzyme？ 係咪 pollen grain 呢？去 digest 呢個 style 啦？答案唔係嘅 ，the answer is no， because it's the pollen tube developed by pollen grain， 得唔得？係會 secrete enzyme to digest 呢個 style 嘅。Okay, so don't mix this up. Okay, on the next page， 下一版啦 ，next page。This is also very important, okay? As if no page is not important, okay? 好似版版都咁重要啊 ，okay? But be careful. How is this one tested? This one is very often， 係非常之 often 啦 ，tested in MC， 得唔得？經常性喺 MC 度考嘅 ，because it's going to ask you to remember 去背翻啦 ，what will happen after fertilization？Okay? 喺 fertilization 之後 ，what will happen to the flower？相對應嘅 ，so which part will become which part？ The name will be different。佢哋會有唔同嘅名嘅，得唔得 ？Okay? So let's go and talk about it. 好啦，我哋就會講啦 ，after fertilization，咁就 something will change，佢哋嘅 structure 會改變咗啦 ，the structure will change，alright， 好啦，而家逐樣睇咯 ，we do not need to focus on these two lines， 唔需要睇呢兩行噶啦。Okay, so first of all， 我哋會睇咗 internal structure first。當然啦，比較重要嘅 ，the more important one would be the female reproductive system or female reproductive organ。咁就會包括記翻啦，就係 SOS。咁當然就會係 stigma、style 同埋 ovary 啦。So this is the major part。OK， 你要去記嘅。咁當然啦 ，first one 就係 stigma and style，they will just become scar。佢變咗一笪罅嘅 ，OK？ So how should I? Okay, so say for example, we will use orange as an example. Orange. 咁究竟 so where is the scar? 究竟佢笪罅喺邊度嘅咧 ？So think about it. It's very easy. So where is the tip of the orange? Orange 喺邊度㗎？個 tip 個頂個位。So where is the green part of the orange? Do you think it's here? Okay, do you think it's here or do you think it's at the bottom? 係 at the top 定係 at the bottom 咧 ？The answer 當然就會係 at the top 啦。Okay, so this is the green tip we see of an orange. So you can tell where is the scar. 個 scar 就會係佢個籮柚嗰度啦 ，the bottom of the orange， 得唔得 ？Alright. So the stigma and style they are no longer here and they will become the scar. 好啦，然後 some more structure names we need to remember. These structure names we have seen it 見過佢哋嘅 where 就係講緊呢個嘅 seed 嗰陣時，講緊呢個嘅佢哋喺種子嗰陣時啦，或者講緊佢哋 ovule 嗰陣時啦，其實就講過嘅 inside the ovary. When we talk about the ovule, we have talked about these structure names. Okay? So first of all 自己記啦 ，first one 就會係 ovum。ovum 係咩嚟㗎 ？ovum is the baby inside。OK？ovum 即係代表佢 carry 住一個嘅 egg 個位啦 ，right？ 好啦，然後第二個啦 ，ovule 大少少嘅 ，a little bit bigger。The whole thing is an ovule， 得唔得？好啦 ，outside 嗰度啦，成個位置 ，this whole thing is the ovary，right？ 好啦，而佢嘅 outside 呢個位置，我哋就會叫做 ovary wall 啦。OK？And 最尾啦，就會係一個嘅 outside 嘅 ovum， 喺 ovum 外邊啦，我哋就會有一個 integument。OK， 嗱，呢幾個字撈一撈先。Next, I'll show you back where we see these words。就係 page 14， 自己可以寫低啊 ，page 14嗰度。Alright, page 14. So let's go up a bit and let's go to page 14. Alright, so we see here. So similarly, 我哋會有個 stigma, style 嗱，自己好快咁讀一次啊 ，stigma, style. And then the remaining part is the ovary， 得唔得 ？SOS 啊。好啦 ，and then outside 最外嗰層啦 ，the outermost layer we call it the ovary wall 啦。然後啦，除咗 ovary wall，other than the ovary wall，it's the ovule，right？ 然後啦，我哋會知道嘅就係 the ovum 就係最 centre 個位置啦 ，the most center part。So this is the female gamete，it carries the female gametes，right？ 好啦，然之後啦 ，we also have the integument 啦，會有一個 connection 啦，會有一個黐住咗 connect 呢一個嘅 ovule to the ovary wall 啦，就係一個 funicle 啦。同埋最尾 there is a small hole here 就係個 micropyle 啦，得唔得 ？OK， so let's continue go back。ovum 即係代表佢 carry 住個 egg 個位啦，或者係 carry 住呢個嘅就 ovum 個位啦。And then 然後我哋會有個 ovary wall， 會有個 integument 喺外邊包住佢啦 ，just like a blankets，alright， 好似啲被咁樣啦。And then the last part is the ovule， 成嚿嘢我哋就叫 ovule 啦。Okay, so it's not that difficult. 點樣記咧 ？So this ovary 成個 ovary it will become the fruit. 佢會成為咗成個 fruit 嘅，得唔得 ？So the fruit we're eating, we're actually eating the ovary， 係成個 ovary 咁食緊嘅。Okay, so what about the seed inside 啦？陣搞清楚 what is fruit and what is seed 已經好有幫助啦。Okay, so do not mix this two up. What is fruit and what is seed? So fruit comes from the ovary. 而呢個 seed 就係 comes from 呢一個嘅 ovule， 得唔得 ？First one， OK。So after you get this done, it should be quite easy. 唔好撈亂 ，do not mix it up. Alright. So when we talk about the ovary, so when we talk about the ovary wall, 佢就變咗做咩啊 ？Fruit wall 啦。Okay, because ovary is a fruit, right? 好啦 ，the remaining parts they are all about 呢一個嘅 seed。剩翻嘅全部部分包括 ovum、ovule、integument, they are all about the seed, right? 咁所以最簡單 ovule 就會係 the seed 啦。而啦 ，the outer layer of the seed 外邊嗰層嘢 ，the outer layer that is the integument, it will become the seed coat。佢會係一個種皮、種子嘅外套、種子嘅皮膚啦。OK, seed coat。And then what really carries 呢一個嘅 female gametes 或者係 zygotes 啦，佢就會係呢個 ovum 呢個位置啊嘛。So ovum will fuse with 呢一個嘅 male gametes and it will form an embryo， 就會形成咗一個 embryo 啦。So this is the whole thing happening to the female reproductive organ。剩翻低咧 ，what about the remaining parts？The stamen 啦 ，stamen 有啲咩啊？包括有 anther 啦，包括有 filaments 啦，我哋嘅 petal 啦。如果我哋要一個 collective noun， 我哋叫做 corolla 啦。我哋有 sepal 啦，最外邊嗰個花萼啦。如果係 collective term， 我哋就會叫做 calyx 啦。So all of them will wither and fall off。佢哋會凋謝同埋係會跌咗落去噶啦。So it's no longer appear on the fruit. Okay? So this part is quite important. You see, I spent quite a lot of time here. Okay? 好啦，咁然後咯 So in the following, we're going to talk a bit more things first. 咁我哋呢個啦就係會講緊呢一個嘅 Bauhinia。Bauhinia 係咩嚟嘅咧 ？Bauhinia 就係洋紫荊啊。Alright, but 洋紫荊 of course there is no fruit. Alright, so Bauhinia is the city flower of Hong Kong. Okay, so for the purple colored Bauhinia, 咁當然 is one species, right? So there is no fruit. But for the other two types of Bauhinia, there are fruits. Okay? 好啦，咁就再睇睇啦。So you can see then how are the seeds arranged？ 呢啲嘅種子係點樣 arrange 嘅咧？佢哋係 alternately 嘅，指到度啦 alternately。alternately 即係代表係分別咁樣嘅，卡啦咁樣嘅，得唔得 ？Okay, so it's like left, right, left, right, left, right 咁樣啦，得唔得 ？Okay, so they attach alternately. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the pea pod. Okay, 咁 pea pod as you can see here, the pea pod is the fruit， 佢會係個果啦。Okay, and just look at this place first. So what is this area? Drawn in blue， 藍色嘅位置 what is this? So this one is no longer 你望到啦 no longer the stamen, petal or sepal. So what is it? You can find it on page 14 again. 你能夠揾到嘅。So the answer would be receptacle. Okay, receptacle. 自己寫低啦。Okay, so and then inside the pea pod 喺個 pea pod 入邊啦 you can find some peas, right? These peas 就係簡單嚟講 they are the seeds， 佢哋係個種子啦。Alright, of course. So when we talk about the peas, just like when we buy the mixed vegetables 三色豆嗰陣時啦 so you can see the peas, right? And then on the outer area of the pea 喺個外邊嗰層啦 so you can see a seed coat。你會望到一個 seed coat 嘅，咁個 seed coat 就會係 a little bit tougher 啦 and that seed coat is actually coming from the integument. Okay, what about the meat inside the seed coat? 喺個 seed coat 入邊嗰啲肉係乜嘢嚟嘅咧 So that one would be the ovum. Okay, that would be the ovum， 亦都係個 embryo 啦。Okay, so that's all about this page. So first of all, it comes from a flower and then it starts developing. You can also see that 就同你講啦 stigma, style 啊 they are all gone. 得唔得 So this is the female part and this one, the petal, the sepal, they are all gone. 唔再喺度噶啦。Okay, 好啦，再講啦喎。So in the following, let's talk about the fruits. So there are different types of fruits， 有唔同種類嘅水果啦。So some of them 就會講啦 they have a fruit wall。啱啱講咗啦 just like a P 係一個 seed 啦，但係我哋講個 pea pod 就會係一個 fruit 啦。So some of them has different types of fruit whorls， 有唔同嘅種類 fruit whorl 嘅。Okay， so they may have one or more seeds。Okay， 好啦，咁究竟個 fruit 嘅 function 係啲咩咧 ？What is the function of the fruit？ 佢目的就主要係 protect the seed 啦，同埋 help dispersal。Help with dispersal， 自己可以寫啊。Help with dispersal。So we'll talk about seed dispersal in a minute， 得唔得 ？Okay， so it's mainly to protect seed， 就係咁簡單啫。Okay， so some of them are fleshy， 佢哋嘅 fruit whorls 係 fleshy 嘅，指到到啦 fleshy， 即係等於多肉多汁㗎啦。And some of the other fruit whorls they are dry and hard， 可以自己寫啊 ，dry and hard， 得唔得？ OK， 咁當然啦，少 some examples。So peaches 係桃啦 ，tomato 就係呢個番茄啦。So you can see they have fleshy fruit whorls。In this case 喺個 peach 嗰度 ，how many seed can you see？ 你會只會望到 one seed 啦。However for tomato you can see a lot of seeds， 你會望到有 many seeds 啊，得唔得？And then for the other type of fruit， 另外一種嘅 fruit 咧，就會講到呢個 hazelnut 榛子啦。So the one you find in 我睇下先講 rocker 先，唔係。So it should be I forgot the English 金沙 ，OK？ So this 榛子 they will have a very dry and hard whorl 嘅 fruit whorl 啦 ，and there is only one seed inside。另外一個啦 ，most of you know what is this？ This is peanut。Peanut 就係一個嘅花生啦。They also have a dry hard whorl, but they have multiple seeds。佢哋有幾粒嘅，得唔得 ？Okay. So there are a few more things I would like to tell you when we meet face to face， 得唔得 ？Okay. So this page there are a few more things, but we'll skip that for now。好啦，咁然後啦，this part I can also talk a little bit about it。This is quite fun, just for fun。Okay， 就係 false fruit。We know what is true and false, right？ 咁中文係啲咩咧 ？What is false fruit? So false is 假 ，false is 錯 ，right? So this one in Chinese you can see it's like 假果 ，okay? So it's quite fun, this name. So what exactly is like? So is this fruit a fake fruit？ 係咪一個假嘅水果嚟嘅咧 ？So it's not like that， 佢又唔係咁樣嘅喎。So what exactly is happening? So we have two examples. You can remember it. Also one more is I'll let you guess. OK， 好啦，其中一個啦，兩個例子就係 apple 同埋 pear 啦 ，pear 就係你啦。OK，so what is happening 就係代表乜嘢咧？就係 the ovary is inside the receptacle。個 ovary 係喺個 receptacle 嘅入邊嘅 ，it is inside the receptacle。Okay, so what happened is that 其實 when you see the fleshy parts, so we eat the apple or pear, the fleshy they are very fleshy， 好多肉多汁㗎啦。Okay, they are actually developed from the receptacle, but not the ovary. Okay, 而唔係個 ovary 嘅。So where is the ovary? Where is the ovary wall? 喺邊度出現咗咧？其實就係 the hard core inside. Core 即係代表係核心。Okay.The hard core inside. So where is the hard core? As you can see, so next time you eat an apple or a pear, so we often avoid the center. We often avoid the core because how does it taste? 通常佢嘅味道係點㗎 ？Is it sweet or sour? Usually it's sour, right? 咁通常啊 we tend to avoid this core area, right? 呢個 core area is actually coming from the ovary.Coming from the ovary 啦 or you can also see the ovary wall 啦，得唔得 ？Okay, so that is to say 講啲乜嘢咧 ？If the fleshy parts comes from the receptacle, developed from the receptacle, but not the ovary， 唔係由 ovary develop 出嚟嘅話咧 ，we call this type of fruits 呢一類嘅 fruits 就會叫做 false fruits 啦。Okay, false fruits。So we can look a bit more. So the ovary, similarly, the ovule, they will become the seed. 一樣嘅啫 they are all the same. There is no changes. Okay, and then for the ovary wall, this time they do not become the fruit wall. 佢唔係變咗做 fruit wall 咯，而係變咗做呢個嘅 hard core 啦。Okay, here receptacle 就變咗做一啲嘅 fleshy tissue。得唔得 ？tissue 再講多次啦，係解組織。Okay, so there is one more fruit like this.And it's very tasty. It's very famous in Japan. and there are a lot of seeds on the outside of the fruit. So you can guess what is that? Okay? 諗一諗啦，咁呢一個 fruit 係啲咩嚟嘅咧？ Okay, and then to our last part, I think. Yes, this should be our last part of, that is the seed dispersal. Okay? 好啦, so the beginning of this chapter, we've talked about germination, how does fertilization takes place. 好啦, after fertilization, they will form zygotes. Okay? 佢會 form 完一個 zygote 之後，they will form seed. But after that, that is not enough. 唔足夠㗎嘛. So last part 我哋就會講到呢一個嘅 dispersal of seed 點樣去散播啦。Okay? So okay, 好，睇睇啦喎。So under favorable condition, so you learn. I told you this word is very important. 你經常性都要記到呢個字啦。Favorable 係咩意思啊 ？Favorable 係解一個良好啦 ，a good condition. Okay, so the seed will germinate, right? 好啦，然之後啦喎 we know that 佢哋會呢個 embryo 啦，會 develop into new plants. Okay, 咁 so therefore we need to make sure that the seed can disperse easily. 佢能夠係會 disperse 到嘅，得唔得？好啦，咁然之後啦喎 so what special is that 就係呢個 seed 啦同埋 fruits 啦，需要 often 係 dispersed to places 係 far from their parent plants. This is the key line. 呢個最重要嗰句嘅。Okay? We need to make sure that they are far from the parent plants. 原因係啲咩咧 ？Why is it good? 原因係啲咩啦？第一樣嘢 ，first one allow 就係容許啦，容許去 colonize new areas. Colonize 即係我講佔領咗啦，統領咗啦。Alright? And then the next one, when it is far from the parent plants， 即係簡單嚟講 ，they are separated. 佢哋係唔差好 ，their distance is very far away, right? 佢哋個距離好遠啦。So therefore, you reduce 減少咗啦，呢一個嘅 overcrowding， 指到一次 overcrowding 過度密集啦。So we know this word crowded, right? We often say Hong Kong is a crowded city. 一個好密集嘅一個城市，好多人嘅 ，there are many people. Alright? So overcrowding is a problem. Overcrowding 係一個問題嚟嘅。So this if the seed and fruits can be dispersed to far away 嘅 places 咧。They can reduce the chance of overcrowding 啦，可以減少 overcrowding。另外啦 ，at the same time, the competition for resources 係 between 嗱，呢個都緊要㗎，係 among 啦或者 between 啦，呢個 daughter and parent plants 得唔得 ？So I allow 我容許啲乜嘢啊 ？If I am flower A, I can competition 啦 ，I can compete with flower B. That is no problem。但係啦 ，if I live very close with my parent plants。如果我同我嘅媽我爸住得好近嘅話 then I will have competition for resources with them. That is not a good thing. 得唔得 ？Okay? So the last part 就用啲咩咧 ？So if that 就係 if there are diseases or pests associated with your parent plants， 或者簡單嚟講就係 if the parent plants are affected by pests or diseases。假如啦 ，OK，associated with 即係代表有聯繫嘅啦。If the parent plants are affected by pests or diseases, the daughter plants will 點啊 ？The daughter plants are able to escape， 就能夠離開到啦。Okay? So these 3 points very important. Always remember it because it often asks you what is the advantage， 有啲咩好處啦。For the daughter cells, for the daughter plants to be dispersed far away from the parent plants. OK， 嗰個 daughter plants 如果能夠 disperse 到好遠嘅 from 呢個 parent plants, what are the advantages？ 有啲咩好處咧？得唔得 ？OK， and there are also some different types of medium。我可以指到一次啦 ，medium 係啲咩嚟嘅咧？或者我哋會叫 media 啦 ，medium 係 singular 嘅。Media 就係 plural 啦。So in Chinese it is 媒體媒介啊，得唔得 ？Okay? So how are they dispersed? Okay? 佢點樣會 disperse 到咧 As you can see, so there are 4 means. 主要 there are mainly 啫 4 means. Means 即係代表 methods， 即係代表方法啦，得唔得 ？So there are mainly 4 means， 就包括 wind 啊、water 啊、animal 啊、explosion。Okay, of course there are other means as well。例如啲咩例子咧 ？For example, fire. Some seed dispersed after fire， 得唔得？通常例如係一個 hill fire 啦，而 example 係啲咩啊？就係一啲嘅 pine species。Okay, pine species. So we will talk about more about this when we get back to class. 好啦，咁然後啦 ，very quickly 啊，我唔想條片太長啦 ，I don't want the film to be too long. Okay, so I'll just finish these 2 pages and talk a bit more. 好啦，嚟啦，首先第一樣嘢啦係 by wind 嘅。So how are they dispersed by wind？ 當然啦。If they want to be dispersed by wind, they have to be lightweight。記多次啦 ，lightweight。light 即係代表佢好輕㗎啦 ，weight 就係重量啦。So they have to be light and they have some special structures， 有啲嘅 special features， 有啲特性喺度嘅，得唔得？咁 we'll talk about that later. And to facilitate， 記多次啦 ，facilitate 應該要識啦，就係促進啦，促進啦。So this one，it is better if you can remember some examples。如果你能夠記到 example 嘅話咧，係非常之好嘅，得唔得？Okay, so now I'm going to tell you this part is since you guys have not practiced essay a lot。Okay, 未寫過好多份 essay 啦。So this one, starting from this chapter, I'll ask you to do essay questions， 得唔得？咁然後啦，actually in chapter 11 we have essay question as well， 得唔得？ So this one, the essay would be very easy. What? Suggest and give examples on how seeds could be dispersed. State the advantages of daughter plants dispersed far away from their parent plants. Okay? 嗱，簡單嚟講啦 so I'll talk about this again later. Okay? But you can start preparing for this. 簡單嚟講 so there are 2 questions. 第一樣嘢就會係 suggest 同 give example 啦。Yeah, so the example is better if you can remember it. Okay? 咁就例如 how are they dispersed? 佢點樣能夠 disperse 啦？然後 which we're going to talk about. Okay? And then the next part is the advantages of your daughter cells dispersed far away from your parents' plants. 當然啦，就會係 the above 呢一個位置啦。Alright? Okay, if there is no question, let's move on. 好啦，第一樣嘢啦 so we will see this is a maple plant. Okay? 一啲楓樹啦。然後啦not all 楓樹will like this, but we will see. They have wing-like structures. I can show you later if possible. Okay? They have wing-like structures. 有啲好似翼嘅 structure 啦。So they will spin like helicopters. Helicopters 係直升機啦。So when they fall from a tree, they will fall for a longer time. They will fall for a longer time. 好啦，另外一個 another example will be Dandelion. Dandelion. Okay? 咁 Dandelion 當然啦 you will see this is 蒲公英啦。They have feathery. 佢哋係有啲嘅好羽毛咁樣嘅啦。Feathery. As you can see, the tip of the Dandelion 就會點㗎？就會係好似一梳梳咁樣啦 very like feather 咁樣啦。而且啦，都係 parachute-like。指多次啦 parachute。Parachute 係降落傘啊。Alright? So they are parachute-like structures that help them float away 啦，都係 for a longer time in the wind 啦，得唔得？ So as you can see，第一樣嘢啦 they are both very light in weight， 佢哋好輕㗎啦 ，and they have some special structures。例如你會望到 wing-like structure 啦，你會望到一啲嘅 parachute-like 嘅 feathery structure 啦。Okay? The next one, when we talk about water， 嗱 when we talk about water, so they are usually buoyant。指多一次啦 buoyant。So we've learned this word in chapter 2 when we talk about water. 我哋學過一隻字嘅，我哋叫 buoyancy. Water can provide 呢一個嘅 buoyancy. So what is buoyancy? Buoyancy 就係一個浮力啦。 Okay, so it allows you to float. Okay. So just like when you're swimming in the swimming pool, if you use no effort at all, someone say that you can float, right? 你能夠浮起身 because water gives you this buoyancy. 得唔得? Okay? So since they are buoyant, 通常 so there may be some air inside the ovary, or inside the fruits, 得唔得? So there may be some air inside to allow them to have more buoyancy. 得唔得？去俾咗佢哋多啲 buoyancy 啦。So you can disperse by water current. OK， 一啲嘅水流啦。OK， so for example, this one is a coconut. Coconuts they are less dense. Dense 即係代表個密度啊。OK， 佢哋係冇咁密啦 than the sea water. So therefore they can float on sea. Another one 呢一個緊要嘅 ，this is quite important. So this one is a mangrove tree. Mangrove 就係一個濕地mangrove 係紅樹林啦，right 紅樹啦。So this one in Chinese you may have heard of it. 呢一個叫做水筆仔 ，alright. So this is one type of mangrove species. I think there are 9 mangrove species in Hong Kong. Okay, and this is one of them. 好啦。This buoyancy will allow them 係點樣㗎 ？So they remain vertical in water. 佢哋會維持係直嘅。They remain vertical in water, so that when they stick， 當佢黐實咗啦 ，when it is low tide， 當開始係退潮嗰陣時啊 ，when it's low tide, they can stick into the soil, and if they are vertical enough， 當佢哋夠直嘅話啦 ，they will be able to develop into a new mangrove tree， 得唔得 ？Okay. Okay, so next two. Let's be quick. So next two is by animals. So this one is very easy. By animals, 通常 of course they must be tasty. We are animals as well. So we will not choose some not tasty fruits, right? 咁例如啦，they are edible. 指多次啦 ，edible 即係可以食用㗎啦。You can eat it, and they may have hooks. 你會望到一啲嘅勾刺嘅 ，OK? So it may not be hurtful. 唔一定係拮手嗰啲啦。But there are just some 勾刺 ，OK? There are just some hooks. OK? So first one 就係一啲嘅 berry fruits 啦 ，berries 咁就會係 they are brightly coloured 啦 ，just like flowers, and they are juicy 或者我哋都可以講啱之前學咗一隻字啦，就叫做 fleshy 啦。So they're juicy and fleshy. OK? So this can attract animals like birds， 例如係一啲嘅雀仔啦 ，to eat them. The seeds 嗱留意一樣嘢 the seed can resist 呢一隻字度啦 ，resist 係抗拒啊，抗拒一個嘅 the action of 呢個 digestive enzyme， 佢能夠抗到一個嘅 digestive enzyme in the bird 得唔得 ？But it may not be able to resist the digestive enzyme of human 得唔得 ？Okay, this is important. So the seeds 就會 resist 咗一個 digestion 啦。然之後啦 they can pass out in the feces. So when the bird poops 或者when the bird egests 啦，當佢係排便嗰陣時啦，或者排胃啊 ，OK? So the seed inside may get into the soil and develop into a new plant. OK? So this is the berry fruits. And another one is burdock. Burdock 就係應該牛蒡啊 ，burdock. So they have hooks. OK? They can cling to the hair of animals. Cling to 即係勾住啦。They can cling to the hair of the animals, and they can be brought to places far away.嗱，最尾啦 ，the last one is this one. This one is you may find it funny, but this I don't know why, but this one is very often tested. Maybe because the above three 上面嘅三個啦 are a bit too easy, and this one. Most students will just ignore this part and they are often tested. 經常性考嘅 Okay, so fruit dispersal 就 by explosion 啦 explosion 當然係解爆炸啦 Okay, so how does this explosion happen 就係一個嘅 they build up tension 就係一個嘅壓力啊 OK 一個力量啦 OK, so they will build up a tension in the fruits and this will cause explosion 咁So we will talk about how does this tension build up. Okay? 最尾就會導致你嘅 fruit wall will burst open and release the seed. 例如啦 ，for example， 通常係一啲嘅 pea plants，pea plants 例如呢個 soya 啦 ，soya 就係黃豆啦 ，OK。And then the tension 就會 increase 啊 when 就係當呢個嘅 when the pea pod 啦 dries up， 當佢乾咗嗰陣時 ，when pea pod dries up，the tension increase and it will burst open。你會望到啦 ，the seed pod 就會 burst open 啦，或者可以用 split open 啦，然後就 release 呢啲嘅 soya beans 啊，就會釋放咗佢出嚟啦。This one is different. This one is called a squirting cucumber. 我未見過啊 ，OK? I haven't seen it before. Squirting cucumber, so they will keep on developing fluid inside. 佢不斷去 build up 呢啲 fluid inside 嘅，不斷去加緊一啲嘅液體入邊啦。OK? So until one point， 直到幾時咧 ？Until it burst，boom 一聲好似核爆咁樣。So it will burst and the seeds will be released. OK? 就係咁啦。So the last part, I'm going to finish this one. So this is called the spicy chili peppers. 咁就真係簡單嚟講係辣椒啦。So this fruit is a berry. It's also one type of berry. 咁啱啱講咗啦 ，earlier we have said that some of them can resist 抗拒到啦呢一個嘅 digestion of the birds, but may not be for human. Okay, so we will talk more about this. 佢哋我哋就會講啦。So the seeds will be destroyed after passing through mammal 嘅 digestive tract. Mammal 即係解哺乳類啦。So human is also one type of mammal. Okay? So therefore, after we eat them, and we poop out or we eject them out, they are dead. They are destroyed. 得唔得？ But those passes through your bird's 嘅 digestive tract can still germinate. 即係代表佢能夠去 resist 咗佢哋嘅 digestion 啦。OK？所以啦 ，OK， so therefore scientists 就會做咩咧？就 think that this is the reason why pepper 就 produce 啲乜嘢啊 ？produce 呢個 chemical 產生咗一個化合物啦，就叫做 capsaicin。OK，I'm sorry， I don't capsaicin。I will say capsaicin。好啦，即係辣椒素啊。So this capsaicin is irritating， 佢係一個有刺激性嘅。They are irritating to mammals, but not to birds。即係簡單嚟講就係 when birds eat this chili, they will not suffer， 佢哋唔會受害嘅，得唔得 ？Okay, so this capsaicin will prevent mammals from eating pepper, but they will not prevent the birds from eating them， 得唔得 ？So why do they want to prevent the mammals from eating them? Because the mammals do not help them to disperse。我哋係唔會幫佢 disperse 嘅。Okay, of course, the last thing is that some mammals are 變態，有啲變態啦 ，just like us。Because some of us like eating spicy things. So the more spicy it is, that means the more capsaicin it has, the happier we become. Okay? So just for fun, okay? So these two purple pages, as I said, they are always very important. So you can have a look first. Okay? And the last thing is that please finish these questions yourself, and we'll come back and teach you this part. And the last part is this one. I will not use another video to talk about this 12.4. 唔會再講㗎啦。But this one, I can give you notice beforehand is that this is another option, 另外一個選擇 another option for your essay writing. So your essay writing can talk about the seed dispersal, or you can also talk about this one. Both are very often tested essay questions. Okay, so that's all for this video. I'm sorry it's a bit too long. It's 45 minutes. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this chapter 12. It is not an easy chapter, but please make sure that you spend time on understanding the words and learning some of the spelling and pronunciation of the words already. Okay, so that's all for this video and the end of chapter 12. I hope you enjoy a happy summer, and that's all. Thank you, and bye-bye.